Hello, I'm Jan Szrewiński and you're watching Break the Fake. They make them, we break them, and tell you everything you need to know. Every day brings new updates on the Ukraine peace talks. First, there is the good, and yes, we're going full Sergio Leone here, if you catch my drift. According to Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski, during the recent talks, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio expressly denied reports that the US wants Ukraine to give up legal claims to Crimea, which was the main point for which many folks, including myself, went a bit berserk on that peace plan yesterday. Then there is the bad, as in a bad take. Trump saying what concessions Russia has made so far. Watch this.
What concessions has Russia offered up thus far to get to the point where you're closer to peace?
Stopping the war, taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
Mr. President.
So apparently it's a huge deal that Putin decided he might try not to rampage across all of Ukraine just yet. Do you guys believe he will keep his promise? To be fair, I wouldn't believe him. Just like the geopolitical gopnik that he is, he'll just keep Slav squatting across the border, hard-based drumbeat of war playing in the background, waiting for another chance. By the way, we have now discovered Trump's secret move. Whenever Putin does something heinous, like bombing an apartment block in Kiev, for example, Donald Trump will come out and say, "Vladimir, stop." Now that's a true social media fus roda right there, no doubt about it. Putin will be sent scrambling back into oblivion after this. Now, Elder Scrolls of irony aside, I reckon Trump has way too much patience for the bellicose Kremlin goblin. But again, as Poland's foreign minister recently suggested, Vladimir might be in for a surprise once Trump's patience finally runs out and he decides castigating Vlad on Truth Social isn't quite enough. And honestly, Putin crawling away defeated and saying, "I was an invader too, but I took a HIMARS to the knee," is the good ending to this particular game. Okay, we had the good, we had the bad, and then there is the ugly. Sergei Lavrov speaking to CBS.
We only target military goals or civilian sites used by the military. President Putin expressed this for so many times, and this is not different this time as well.
Oh, so I guess the military is using playgrounds for troop training then? Or launching ATACMS missiles from apartment block balconies? The phrase, "not gonna lie," is not in this guy's dictionary, because he always does. Speaking of lies...
There are several signs that we are moving in the right direction. First of all, because President Trump is probably the only leader on earth who recognized the need to address the root causes of this situation. When he said that it was a huge mistake to pull Ukraine into NATO, and this was a mistake by Biden administration, and he wants to rectify this.
Wrong answer. Ukraine's overall path to NATO was recognized during the Bucharest Summit 2008, at the tail end of the George W. Bush presidency. So, not Biden. Also, nobody pulled Ukraine into NATO. It was, in fact, Russia who effectively pushed them this way by acting the way they did. You know, Georgia, Chechnya. The Kremlin crew simply has a history of violence. And to anybody who still believes Russian fanfics about NATO expansion, I can only go down the Trump way and say, stop it. Get some help. Having an opposition is easy. Any two-bit dictator can manage that. But Comrade Tsar Putin, he's operating on expert mode here. He doesn't just control the opposition, he is the opposition, occasionally even demanding things from himself. Admit it, that's not autocracy, that is performance art. Take the latest episode featuring State Duma deputy and coordinator of the National Liberation Movement, also known as NOD, Yevgeny Fyodorov, who gave an interview that reads a bit like a high-budget parody. According to him, Trump treats China not as an equal subject of international relations, but as a colony. Meanwhile, Russia is restoring the fatherland with patriotism as its foundation, productivity sky high and social justice sprinkled like powdered sugar on top. How quaint.
Сами переговоры с Америкой – это очень простая формула из двух блоков. Первый блок – приверженность верховенства территориальной целостности по итогам Второй мировой войны, международному праву. Вот ровно что наш МИД пишет в отношении Каталонии. Вот разместите заявление МИДа, чтобы люди поняли, насколько это двуличность. Что к Каталонии, нельзя выходить из состава Испании, потому что Испания есть продукт Второй мировой войны. А Украине можно. Почему, непонятно. Да? Вот почему-то одни и те же чиновники в отношении Испании занимают одну позицию, которая как бы не наша. А в отношении нашей, где погибают наши ребята, занимают прямо противоположно. Мы-то понимаем, что это отсутствие суверенитета, третий пункт. Если со стороны посмотреть, это же полная глупость, абсолютная. В Каталонии нельзя расчленяться, потому что по итогам Второй мировой войны она едина. Советскому Союзу и преемникам России типа почему-то можно. И вот эта песнь сепаратизму, которая звучит на всех переговорах с Америкой, на вот этих рабочих группах. Давайте поддержим права сепаратистов по всему миру, устроить сепаратистские войны со своими государствами. Бред же. Просто бред. Он звучит как официальная позиция. Я понимаю, что она звучит, скажем так, не то, что просто как глупость, а для цели обеспечения внутреннего процесса победы НОТ. То есть пока НОТ в России не победит, будет глупость, транслируемая на международном уровне. Тем не менее.
But wait, until the NOD wins, whatever that looks like, Fyodorov warns the world will remain stuck in foolishness. For example, Russia's diplomatic doublethink, supporting Catalonian integrity while simultaneously tearing chunks out of Ukraine, a contradiction explained away with a straight face. In Putin's empire, satire isn't dead, it's just been nationalized, apparently. We tried so hard to build the myth of the second best army in the world, we ended up believing it ourselves. That was a big mistake. This is the confession of Oleg Tsaryov, once a proud member of the Russian Empire LARP club, and now seemingly demoted to reluctant stand-up comedian. Ah yes, the fabled second army in the world, feared by NATO, whispered about in hushed tones from Warsaw to Washington. Turns out it was less Red Storm Rising and more like a Russian edition of Dad's Army. Like a child who dressed up as a superhero and jumped off the roof convinced he could fly, the Russian military truly believed its own hype. Spoiler alert, Gravity, just like the Ukrainian armed forces, had other ideas.
Ведь мы были по-своему талантливы.
По-своему.
Да, мы настолько умело могли создавать мифы, мы настолько тогда создали ощущение этой армии, которая вторая в мире и все такое. Видите, ладно, Соединенные Штаты в это поверили, мы сами поверили. Это была большая ошибка очень, что так получилось.
А какая на самом деле?
Мы не должны были заходить столь малыми силами в Украину.
You know what? Tsaryov's honesty is actually refreshing, like a waiter finally admitting that the steak tartare is actually expired bologna sausage. For years, state TV sold Russians tales of invincibility, high-tech missiles, and armies so advanced they could only be seen through a lens of imagination. Tanks with reactive armor, jets with cloaking devices, soldiers who could allegedly operate with one hand while playing the balalaika with the other, I guess. And now, the tanks are being pulled with tractors. The jets prefer to operate from somewhere in the rear. And the soldiers, well, they are busy starring in viral TikToks showcasing how not to invade a neighboring country. In the end, Tsaryov may be onto something. If Russia had put half the effort into their military logistics as they did into building this absurd myth, maybe, just maybe, they wouldn't be in the situation where even their own propagandists are delivering punchlines instead of threats. And with this, we conclude this edition of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.